By the way,
Mm-hmm.
the reason that I've barely been paying attention for the past couple of minutes is,
I see. That's very important.
yeah, as distractions
Okay,
go, it's pretty good.
but the froppy one is pretty great.
I don't think any of these is bad. Honestly, they're all pretty incredible.
The Jira ones, the freaking Shigaraki with the
Wow,
hand.
that's just a whole ass human hand.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I feel like it might have been. I don't know whether you could do that with like a. Is it a mouse or a rat? I can't actually tell. I think it's a
Mouse.
rat. Is it a mouse? Okay. Yeah. I don't know if you'd be able to do the same effect with like a mouse paw.
Oh,
these are all pretty
wait,
great.
no, they're they're hamsters. It's based on Hamtaro.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Hamsters.
they're hamsters.
I just brain had to catch up there for a second.
Aizawa still looks just about as intense as he always does.
And just about as tired as everyone's shit.
Fucking All Might Hamtaro.
Fucking Hawks with his little Endeavor plushie. It's fucking great.
The scarred up hamster that is Dobby.
I actually didn't realize that was Hawks. I had no idea who that was.
Yeah.
The
I've
little
seen that part of
wings.
the manga. I know who he is. I just didn't make the connection.
And freaking the toga hamster that has a knife.
Well, of course.
Hmm.
I don't know about you, but if a hamster comes at me with a knife, I'm giving up. I'm game overing right there.
You just let it kill you. It's earned it.
I can't win against that. It's too powerful.
Why
Like a
does
baby
Shinso
with a
have
gun.
yawn?
Uh,
I don't know.
to comfort him.
I guess. Kiro with a. Is that a 5-string bass? I think that's a 5-string bass. Fair enough.
Like how
Just
you
like
have
in real life, in the anime, she's also ignored. Nobody cares about the bassist.
Harsh. Uh, also, not generally true. Like, it's the drummer that no one really cares about. It's just
That's
kind of
that's
there.
also true.
Like, drummers are famously replaceable, unfortunately. Well, it depends on the circumstance, but, you know. Yeah.
Man, imagine training to be the best drummer you can be, and then you're just like, oh no, you're easily replaced. Make you
That.
very angry, make you drum harder.
Best drummer that you can be is a good qualifier, because if you, like, train to be the best drummer, those don't get replaced. That is not an easy thing to replace. Like, drummers are a dime a dozen, but really, really good drummers are not. Like that would be the circumstance where it's like, no, you don't replace them.
That's fair. I'm sure there's some kind of skill ceiling that once you pass that or threshold or whatever,
I'm
you
curious.
pass from.
I want a Momo hamster. She is just friggin' adorable.
Yeah, just
Okay,
just happy to be here.
Yeah.
the last Hamtaro game was Hamtaro Little Hamster's Big Adventures, released for iOS in 2011.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Darn. Ham Ham Heartbreak was pretty good.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, the series is completely over. all aspects of it have ended by now.
I have no idea about Hamtaro. It's not a thing that's on my radar and has never been. So, damn YouTube videos auto playing when I close a tab. Hi everybody, podcast time. What's up?
Hey, what's up?
Slices here, Zero's here. I'm Casey. How's it going?
I'm looking up the history of Hamtaro.
This is a good way to spend an episode. I'm not even sure whether I'm being sarcastic.
No,
Yeah.
I'd say it's pretty good. It's part of our history as anime fans.
Because the
We
thing
owe a
is,
lot to Hamtaro, I'm sure.
the Hamtaro is weird because it was a manga that had that lasted for 3 years and had 3 volumes, and that was 97 to year 2000, and then after that, anime, video games kept it alive for 13 years after that, despite there being no new manga ever coming out. Just spin-off after spin-off. Pretty weird.
Hams. What the fuck? Hams unite. Okay. Yeah.
Ham Heartbreak was pretty good. You had to learn the hamster language in order to get past puzzles.
I feel
was
like the hamster language has 5 words.
No, they have a huge dictionary, and it's just why does this have to be its own unique word? Why do you have, when somebody's blushing, why do we have to use the word blushy instead of just? But you know what? It's the hamster way, and you have to go and get all the words and solve all the problems and unbreak all the hearts through the power of puzzle solving and love.
In the game, you mean? Or
Yes, in the game, Ham Heartbreak.
Also in real life.
well, yes.
Because after all, love is a puzzle in itself that must be solved.
Not untrue. Yeah.
This word is we use the word dig, and that allows you to dig, and I'm like, it's just the word dig twice, but you know what, that's okay because hamsters are cute. I once had a hamster.
Yeah, okay.
The first time I held my hamster, it peed in my hands.
Yeah.
It is a rodent. They do that.
What would you do if a 100-foot being decided to cradle you in a single hand? Your life in its hands.
I'd chill out. Be like, man, I can't do anything to stop this.
Generally speaking, if a hamster reacts that way, they die. Or anything that size, their body just decides, oh, I guess we're dead now.
But no, my brother also got a hamster later on, and then me and my brother at the time had a bunk bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the hamster was on a table right next to the bunk bed, and in their cage and everything. And I wake up one night, and I feel something crawling in my bed, because I'm in the lower bunk. And I freak out. And that hamster had gone out of its cage and then crawled into my bed while I was sleeping, was trying to escape.
Or it was trying to give you a hug.
Or it was just trying to get warm, honestly.
I remember my dad once had a hamster when he was a kid, and it ate its way into the wall and then just kind of vanished for a bit. But every now and then while they were watching TV, they'd hear it running through the walls.
Yeah, that happens a surprising amount, actually.
So ever since then, with the hamster crawling into my bed and constantly trying to get out and constantly escaping, like this hamster was working out to try to jailbreak all the time.
Are you trying to tell us you're afraid of hamsters? Is this where
I'm
this
trying
is
to
going?
no, I'm not afraid of hamsters. I just don't want one as a pet. Not anymore.
That sounds suspiciously like you're afraid of hamsters.
No. They're cute. They're cute. I like. I'd prefer a dog. Thank you very much.
Cats.
And I have a cute dog.
Cat.
I'm good with animals. I just don't. I don't like small things crawling on me. Thank you very much. Especially when I'm sleeping.
It's understandable.
Hamtaro. If it was somebody else, they might have grabbed the hamster and thrown it against the wall.
I guess. I mean, if you want to talk about what someone might have done, there's a lot of things that someone might have done.
Not me. I only freaked out and put the hamster back into its cage. I don't think it peed. Yeah, it didn't pee in my hands that time because it was a different hamster, and that one had no fear. It only wanted power.
Yeah, that's definitely a small creature thing. Some of them are like that. They just no survival instinct. All I am in charge.
Casey, how was your week?
Yum yum. I'm frustrated and might have a bit of writer's block, which is very unfortunate. But I'm kind of having to brute force my way through it. So that is what it is. Yeah. So that's cool. I've been playing a bunch more Shipbreaker now that the new update is out that has reset all of the progress for everybody.
Yeah, I saw you posting about that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I may have almost gotten eaten by the processor again. Yeah, that whole thing's fun.
I gotta try that game at some point.
It's really good. Don't get too close to like the resource delivery base because they have a gravity to them, which is good when you're chucking gigantic hull plates at them and they're vaguely going in the right direction, so that's good enough because they'll just suck them in. Cool. It sucks in anything that goes close enough. So if you happen to see some valuable component in the thing that you just chucked at the processor, for example, and are like, hey, I need to grab that thing out of that before it gets in the process. Don't. It's gone. Because if you try and chase after it, you might get it, but you will also inevitably get sucked into the processor. And if you're lucky, you'll manage to snag like the grabby line you have on something and try and desperately pull yourself out. But the pull of the grabby thing and of the processor trying to drag you in is about equal. So you just sort of end in this inevitable limbo where you can't stop trying to drag yourself out because you'll get dragged into the processor, but you will never escape. And the grapple line will probably break before the end of your shift. So, yeah. That's,
How was work today? comes in with like a broken grappling hook. I just made it.
Yeah, and it seems like they changed how some of the ships come apart because I don't know how I kept exploding for a while there. That was a thing that kept happening once it started having power cores in ships. I would disconnect a piece of the ship thinking I'd be able to just pull off like a hull plate or something. And nope, I'm on fire for some reason. And that's alright. Don't know how that happened, but okay. So I had to learn to pull out the power core first before I did anything else. That was a thing. And yeah, that's still a fun game. I mean, it's very chill, except when it's not. So that's pretty cool.
Sounds like a process
Hmm.
you should definitely pay attention to.
You think about all the dangerous jobs like out there in real life, and the people who have to climb up to the tops of those towers on top of buildings, and you just like one slip. How are you so brave? One mistake. And with shipbuilders or shipbreakers, get a little bit too close to a gravitational pull. Goodbye.
Oh, they've also changed some of the story stuff as well. Like,
Here's a story.
there's the bones of a story, at least. So it's like, corporate dystopia kind of thing, where everything sucks, the world is kind of low-key ending, and humanity are trying to escape to the stars and all that stuff. You have no money, everyone is sick, you have no food, so you basically enslave yourself to this company that, dismantles ships to, make new ships, kind of thing. And in the original, well, I say original, in a previous version of the game, it would do this kind of interesting thing where you would sign most of your rights away as part of joining the company because, corporate dystopia. But they had this thing where if you died, they would have your DNA on file and clone you. And if you died, then you actually lose all of your rights. So the game would stop referring to you as a person and start referring to you as property.
Okay. That's
Yep. Which was an interesting thing, and I thought that was pretty cool. And I was actually planning on doing a run where if I died, then I would just start a new file because that's, I don't want to be property. That sucks. So that's what I was planning to do. But in the new version, they seem to have changed it where you start as a clone. Well, in the intro, you are a person, and then they have to break down your entire original body in order to extract your DNA for some reason. Well, corporate dystopia. They totally have to destroy your original body and clone you first, and that's not an excuse to turn you into property rather than a person. Sure. Wink, wink. But yeah, so you start as a clone now. There's no incentive to never die, which is unfortunate. I think that loses something in that, but oh well.
I mean, I can see how you'd want to put extra effort into staying alive the first time to avoid that. So, yeah, they've essentially taken out that whole motivation.
I think it's either like they have a specific vision for how they want the game to go, and they want the player to die, so they're just like, oh well, we'll just take away that choice because or like B, they were planning on probably fleshing out what happened if you stayed alive, but just didn't seem like they'd had the time or the energy or whatever to make that possible, to do like a route like that.
Yeah, from what I've seen of the very little story that exists currently, they are. It's kind of background, and that's kind of a good thing because it's not amazingly written, but whatever. What they're doing is, hey, there is a group of people secretly trying to get a workers' union going, and that's inevitably going to go badly. But they're trying to rope you into it, and I assume that's going to be the main thrust of the story as it happens. So they kind of want you to be of one state as far as that whole being a person or being property goes, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Seems like that's what's closer to what they intended.
yeah. So that's, yeah, it is what it is. I prefer the gameplay loop, to be honest. It's not a game I'm looking at the story very closely for. In fact, I just kind of tend to roll my eyes when it pops up. But you know, it's fine. It doesn't seem like the type of game that really lends itself to the theme that they're going for. I don't think so. But oh well.
Is it a finished game or is it still being worked on?
No, it's early access.
Okay, so do you think it's ever a game that will have a prevalent story, or will it always be kind of like side content, essentially, or a minor aspect of?
I feel like it will probably end up like Thief Simulator.
I assume that's a stealth game where you're not allowed to kill everyone, so I've never played that.
Yeah, okay. So Thief Simulator is basically, hey, there is a guy that is trying to get you to work for him and do a bunch of jobs, and in the end he kills you. And the story is all kind of perfunctory, and because of that, when it ends with you dying, it kind of feels unsatisfying, unearned, and kind of ruins everything that you went through beforehand.
Oh, I see.
So that's kind of what I'm expecting for this game.
Sad, but I can't really blame you.
But the game is fun, and that is, in this case, I would call that the important part.
Yeah, I would say so.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I mean, we actually genuinely only had a week between episodes, and that's like nothing for me. So,
yeah, work being what it is. In that case, so I started watching a show on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's called Jupiter's Legacy.
I don't think I've even seen the name of that.
Not familiar.
Okay. So, Jupiter's Legacy is pretty interesting. It has some areas where, okay, I'll get into the premise. Superhero show, right? Where you have the father of this family. He's the utopian, right? Standard Superman analogy and everything. And because he's so rigid, it has kind of alienated and affected his children negatively. Like the daughter is off being a model and taking pictures of, herself that her father doesn't quite find appropriate. She's doing drugs, getting drunk, anything to be away from him because he just doesn't allow for any sort of thing that is not, pure good hero stuff, right? He's very white and black morality type of person. Meanwhile, the son is like, I want to be like you, Dad. I want to be a hero. And in the first episode, the son is presented with a situation which all of the main heroes like of this union are down or dying or have died, and this villain is about to explode and kill them and like half of the state. And so the son flies up and punches the dude's head in and kills him.
I'd say a job well done then.
Yeah, and then the dad's like, "No, we don't kill." And he's then like all torn up about that. And it's like, oh yeah, no, 78% of America says that was very much the right thing to do in that situation.
Only 78, really?
Yeah. Well, they weren't there for they don't know the full specifics, but they say killing him was good, and they'd like more of that, please, instead of just locking away the villains who just keep breaking out.
Yeah, that's fair. I was going to say we're pretty strong about self-defense, stand your ground laws here, and I think we'd be a lot more accepting as a society of murdering the villain than that.
And so the show kind of goes into these various aspects of like a modern hero society that has this code imposed by this, the main hero, the utopian, as he calls himself, and just how viable that is when heroes are being murdered. And unlike law enforcement or anybody, they don't have a right to potentially kill in self-defense. So people are dying, and the villains are walking free because they're not allowed to kill them.
That's problematic.
Right? The villains are, yeah. At the same time, the story also goes back to like the 1920s/1930s, and has a sort of interesting backstory as to how, like, these characters, these heroes, these primary heroes, are really old, and how they got their powers and everything is pretty interesting. And seeing the backstory of the father of this family, the Utopian, and how that forced him to be this way, and the kind of the philosophical discussion that he ends up having with a therapist-like character, kind of delving into that. It's all really interesting. I feel like the show at times lacks a bit of direction, and it's a sort of thing where it's like, it's not fantastic, but it's interesting to watch, I'm still watching it. I'm like on episode 7, but I just started watching it after I was watching episode 6 of Invincible with my dad, and that's a very similar yet very different show.
I was about to ask, what sets it apart from Invincible or The Boys or any other recent superhero that's like grimdark-ish?
Because the Superman analogy isn't secretly evil or a villain. He's just, I am good person. I will do my best to be a good guy, and he's imposing this on all the heroes to be good.
People who don't have the physicality to actually do that safely.
Yes. And that has side effects, and it alienates his family, and his family's trying to deal with a very stubborn Superman who will not compromise on anything. So for the drama aspect, it's very different and kind of interesting. Whereas the boys in Invincible are like, hey, what if Superman was the bad guy?
Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, The Boys is kind of a polar opposite of what Jupiter's Legacy sounds like. I mean, the entire point is the boys can kill, like, whenever they fucking feel like it, basically. It just kind of gets swept under the rug. So
Yes.
It's just an annoying pile of paperwork, essentially, so they don't, whenever they don't feel like it, I guess.
Whereas, in Jupiter's Legacy, no killing, even though it's you or tons of people. And it's like, well, what else could I have done in that situation when he was going to blow up and kill everybody? And I'm nearly dead, and you're nearly dead, and nobody else can move. So it's interesting conceptually.
I can definitely see that.
I find it interesting that there's a lot of adult superhero shows coming out lately.
Wonder why.
I really feel like what with the R-rated superhero movies doing very well, everybody's trying to capitalize on that to some extent. Because like, oh yeah, no, there's an audience here. People love Deadpool and Logan and stuff, so why not?
I feel like maybe it's that, and also, hey, we haven't been able to film anything for over a year, but animation, people can do animation at home. It's complicated, but...
For Invincible, Jupiter's Legacy is live action.
Oh, is it? I thought it was animation.
Nope. Live action. Pretty good. I'm gonna wait to finish it before I can recommend it or anything, but the concept is pretty solid. Kind of delving into a different aspect of a hero type society. And I also got to play Pokemon Snap.
Yeah.
So, okay. I only played the original Pokemon Snap at a friend's house. So I never owned it. I never rented it or anything. It was just the sort of thing that, hey, if it's there, I'll play it. Pokemon Snap is nice and relaxing.
Yeah.
You go through these routes multiple times, taking pictures. Each time you go through, you build up points that then levels up that area so that new Pokemon and new animations for this Pokemon and new encounters can happen. So you can get new pictures and you can fill out your photo decks even more.
Yeah.
There's also a story of trying to find these Illumina Pokemon, which are Pokemon that are like glowing and vastly increased in size, and kind of beautiful in their own way. And obviously, because they're bigger in size, it helps with taking pictures. You don't have to zoom in all the time, and you can frame it a bit differently, which I enjoy. And I only just got to the point where I unlocked the apples that you can throw at Pokemon.
That are very specifically very light and soft and fluffy.
Yes.
So
very
it's not just beaning Pokemon with
very specifically light and fluffy. It's fine.
They're fluff fruit.
I'm surprised they aren't stuffed apples or something.
You go to the tutorial and it's like, here, try it out. And I'm just hitting the button. I'm just hitting Pikachu in the face over and over and over and over again with the apples.
They can say it's just soft and fluffy, but it's still kind of satisfying just bonking them in the head with it over and over again.
And there's a reason to bonk them in the head. You bonk them in the head, they'll make a new expression or a new face, and you can capture that on camera.
Yeah.
I feel like the paparazzi.
If they're sleeping, bonk them. And, they'll wake up for a second.
Most people just call that animal abuse or animal cruelty, but I mean,
They're
here we call it
fluff
photography.
fruits.
Hey,
It's soft and
they're
gentle.
fluff fruits. They're not rocks yet.
We don't
I mean,
really know
even
whether
if
the
it-
pestibles come back.
So even if it was just like a stuffed fruit, like a plushie, basically, you're still fucking with a sleeping animal. Like that's most people would. If you had a friend who walked up and like picked up their cat as it was sleeping, you'd frown a little bit. Like just leave the cat alone. It was just sleeping. What the fuck's wrong with you?
It's fine. They're Pokemon. They have HP.
You have no souls. They have no dignity.
It's not dealing any HP damage. So they're not actually hurt.
I do like that there are some Pokemon that even if you do bean them with a fluff fruit while they're sleeping, they will just still stay asleep. They
don't
give a
care.
shit. Yeah, there is a Lipod that's at like towards the end of the route, and it is always just sitting on a rock sleeping. It does not give a fuck what you do.
So yeah, I'm not very far in the game, but I get the appeal. You know,
Yeah.
it's just genuinely fun to take those pictures and take them just right and capture those little moments. Get your points.
Or get them wrong and get dumb photographs that are fun in their own way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like Rita. Rita is the assistant character that shows up. I feel like her design is nightmarish. It seems really off to me.
I'll be honest, pretty much the only character I like that I've seen is.
Well,
Okay. Have you seen the third character show up, Zero?
I have not.
Okay. I will not. There is a character that will show up that I like, and then there is also another character that will show up that I don't like. I like one of those four characters, and that's it. You will know the one I mean when they come up.
That's Rita on the right, Slicer.
oh yeah, I just googled her, but why does she look like Gudra?
I know. But also just her face doesn't like there's something off about it. I can't place it.
Like the guy on the left looks. I mean, he looks anime, but he looks like a person.
Yeah.
The person on the right looks all the way anime, and that's fine. But combining the two in the same picture,
It's
weird.
off, right?
It's
Okay.
very weird.
I was looking at him for a second, and I was like, did they really have to highlight his package that much? And that's not what that is. That's his fucking, like, a sweater tied around his waist or something. I honestly
Yes.
thought
All right,
it was
right,
just his
I can-
bulge.
I can
Well,
see it now.
It's like Rita
Unfortunately.
looks fine in the concept art, right?
Well, she looks like an anime character, which is the thing.
But
He
then you
didn't-
look at her in the 3D model and it's just like I'm perturbed.
You have to add more realistic human elements if you make a 3D model. Otherwise, it looks like an anime character.
Yeah, it's
So-
basically like the One Piece games kind of problem, where like, hey, these characters don't translate well into like 3 dimensions unless you cel shade it.
It's interesting because I unlocked. Oh hey, here's a cell shading filter for your camera, and I'm like, I wonder what this game would look like if it were slightly more cell shaded. But minor complaint aside, it's really minor complaint.
Yeah, because literally,
I-
who gives a shit about the story of Pokemon Snap?
Yeah, no. The Pokemon are cute, and that's all that really matters. I can't wait to get to more areas and find more Pokemon,
Yeah,
and then get more things to throw at Pokemon.
yeah.
How many things can you have? Did they add more things, or is it just the same ones from the
I
original?
don't know, because when I went to go look at the controls, there's like a bunch of question marks around several buttons, and I'm like, excuse me?
Mm.
That's strange, but okay.
That hides it until I unlock it. So I'll never know until I can get through the game a bit more.
Mm.
But yeah, it's good. It's Pokemon Snap. It's new, and having the feature to just have people online, their photos just pop up in a little sidebar that you can go look at. That's pretty nice too.
Yeah, I did see, like, I watched Callie and then Ina play it, and she found an online photo that was just Pinsir roaring at the sky, and it had the caption "Stella." So that was pretty cool. Yeah, it's a good feature. It's a natural evolution of that thing where you could print out the photos in original Pokemon Snap
hmm
in the very few locations that had that.
And like you can save the photos that you take to an album and then edit them and then upload them.
Mm.
And you unlock more options as you play through the game of like things you can do to these pictures, and that's all really cool.
Yeah,
It's photo mode, the game.
pretty
I mean,
much.
you're
Yeah.
essentially you're printing free advertising at that point. Like the people playing the game will advertise your game for you because memes. So that's pretty ingenious.
Yeah, it's
Also,
pretty
it'd be
good.
weird if it didn't have it. Like that's kind of the whole point of Pokemon
Uh-huh.
Snap is to take pictures. So not being able to get them off of the game would be kind of weird.
Mm.
So, I mean, aside from those two things, um, watching more Invincible, which I'm almost done with it, and then I can give my full thoughts. Uh, yeah, it's been a pretty slow week, like just in general, you know?
Mm. Mm.
I should do more things.
You say that, and my week is going to take about 20 seconds. So,
Ah, give me those 20 seconds.
okay.
Let's
I've
count it.
beaten Resident Evil 8 about 6 times now.
Okay.
I mean, it's not as short as the RE2 remake or especially the RE3 remake, which you could burn through in an hour and 15 minutes. At least that was my fastest time, I believe. Um, although there is a challenge for beating it in under 3 hours, so there's you can definitely speed through it if you want. Uh,
You
thanks
lied
to
to
the
me.
challenges menu. What
You lied to me.
about what?
We're at about 30 seconds now.
Oh, I did lie to you.
Yes, you did.
Fair enough. I'm a liar McLiar face.
Yeah.
So thanks to the challenges menu, I discovered that there's a boss in that game that I just never beat or never even ran into. I guess there's an alpha werewolf, and I just missed it in every single playthrough. Because it spawns in an area of the map that you really have no reason to go back to once you beat the boss that makes it spawn. I don't know how much you guys have played, so I didn't want to spoil it.
Hmm.
None.
Well,
So
Wait,
I
no,
don't
it's
really care though.
side content anyway. It doesn't matter. Once you beat Moreau, the fish guy,
yeah.
you go back to the area of the map with all the corn and the scarecrow and the burning house. But like that's in a small corner of the village that you, like I said, you don't need to go back to once you. There's a key there you can go back and get, and then there's a white pig which gives unique meat, so you can get a permanent upgrade for your character. But once you get those, there's nothing there aside from the werewolf. So yeah, I'll have to actually fight him in the playthrough I'm doing now to get money. Like Resident Evil 5, uh, the game is kind of designed for you to play through it a lot to get money to fully upgrade the weapons. which you can only get infinite ammo for them once they're fully upgraded, which is okay. I don't mind that too much. I wish things. The only complaint I actually have with the game after playing it this many times is nothing carries over to mercenaries mode, which is exceedingly difficult to get higher ranks on because one, there's 8 maps, and the last 4 of which are in hard mode, which means you die immediately if you get hit. Like you have essentially 2 hits worth of health, which is a problematic experience. And in order to get the highest score possible, you need to maintain a combo. So you need to kill everything pretty much as fast as possible. In the first 4 maps, that's not really that difficult because the game gives you access to pretty much every gun as long as you can afford it. In hard mode, you get the handgun. Make do, fucker. And it's rough. So I haven't actually beat Mercenaries mode to any real great degree, and I don't think I probably ever will. I mean, I've beaten everything else, so. So yeah, it's a really fun game. I enjoy it a lot. Definitely gets an actual recommendation for me. And I have to look up the story I've been reading recently because that's the only other thing I've actually had time to do. Really been stretched thin this week. It's made by the guy who made the third Path of the Future, or the Magic of the Force. I think he's done a couple of Ranma, really big Ranma things. He did Filthy, the DxD Harry Potter crossover, where he's a werewolf.
I have no idea.
Fair enough. I didn't know if you guys read that one or not. Okay, I found it. Baleson Remodel. It's a Baldur's Gate Harry Potter crossover where he winds up in the computer game. So it has a lot of game elements to it, similar to a gamer crossover, but not anything like that. It just has gaming elements.
Okay. It's Ball, by the way.
Whatever. Balson. Named as such, I assume, because the main villain of that game is Ball. Or Bale. I'm going to keep going with Bale, because that's what he's called in Diablo 2.
Not really. He's basically Sir not appearing in this game.
Oh, really? They've mentioned him a couple times in the story, so
yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Spoiler for the game that came out 21 years ago. It's about, like, Ball's grand plan for his prophesized death, which was basically to have a fuckload of kids and they would all kill each other off and his godly essence would all regather and he would be alive again. That was his plan.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, that tracks with the things that are happening in the story, so fair enough. I'm kind of glad I didn't know that going in, because that is kind of actually a big reveal in the story.
Also, it's actually just playing the story straight?
No, there's a lot of variance, but there is a main quest that the entire, like, the cast is on, and that's kind of an aspect of it, is Harry discovering that the body that his soul is now inhabiting is a Bale spawn, as they call it.
Every time you say it like that, it's like a part of me dies.
That's great, but I grew up on Diablo 2, and that's what they called him. Bale, Lord of Destruction. So
Lord of Murder in this one, but yes.
Yeah. So that they're trying to find out why his stats are so high, basically. When he levels up, he gets twice as many skill points as most people do. And they didn't know why, and that kind of twigged off their more veteran party members. So they kind of discovered it. That's how that whole thing unraveled. But yeah, it's it's quite a good story. My only complaint is that the author cuts back to the real world because he's in the game in another dimension basically, and the computer he fixed up to wind up in the world uh, is essentially the gateway to it. Um, and it never really amounts to anything.
Hmm.
Like Hermione is now at Beauxbatons, the French school.
Bobatons.
That's it. So she's at the French school. She's gone slightly crazy in that her friend is missing, and she wants to take part-time classes and then part-time Muggle classes in engineering to because she thinks she knows better than everyone and wants to prove everyone wrong, basically, that she can get him back. That element was kind of fun, but then it cuts to like Dumbledore just kind of dicking around in Egypt trying to figure stuff out, and it doesn't go anywhere. Maybe it will in the future, but for now, it's just you can pretty much safely skip over anything that happens in the real world or
Hmm.
the regular Harry Potter dimension, I suppose. But everything else is pretty amazing. I really enjoyed reading it, and that, and then I've been working on a couple different story ideas. I had an idea, a friend of mine had an idea, and then another friend of mine was finishing up the chapter that he's been working on for a couple months. So it's been a busy couple days for editing.
Hmm.
So that's been a massive source of a need for caffeine, to put it mildly. So that's my week.
I remembered something that I did.
What did you do?
So I've been seeing ads for this gotcha game called Sword Master Story because it has Konosuba characters, Konosuba collab, and I'm
It,
like,
I swear that's half the reason I find these games is because they do a collab with something that people actually know about.
all right, let me see what this game is. Um, and basically the game is stop playing game, just put auto on your phone and step away.
Hmm. One of those.
Oh, so
Story? What story? You left your phone on overnight and now you're at level 300.
Raid Shadow Legends. Then that's apparently how that game actually plays.
I got I got Megumin, and Megumin has a really fun ability where she will just absolutely nuke harder than anything else in the game with her explosion spell, and then is useless and disappears from combat for 12 seconds because she
Is
can't
is
do anything else.
is 12 seconds a lot in that
It,
game?
it is when it's going really fast. And then Darkness has an ability where she can take a lot of hits, but she has an 80% reduction to accuracy.
Oh, yeah, that's actually fairly forgiving. Like you still hit sometimes. I
I,
don't think
I
she's ever hit anything in the show ever.
once or twice on accident, but I just find it funny that they were able to implement those aspects. I'm probably going to delete this game. It's pretty bad.
Hmm.
Beyond the crossover element, it's just kind of shit.
The, y'all know how much of a non-crossover it is. Normally, in a crossover situation, you have like an event where those characters talk and they have a story. That's not there. Normally,
It's
you have
just a
the voice actors do the voices. That's not there either.
So it's just these characters are in this. They just do the same stuff that everyone else does. They're just character models, basically.
Yeah,
Oh, that's really lazy. That's
it's
I mean,
it's
like,
really
why go through the effort of making these 3D models or
they're
art
not
or
3D.
whatever, and then
They're sprite art.
oh, still, why go through the effort of making these assets and then not like a little extra effort to make a whole experience?
Yeah, I know, right? There's like a collab event where you can go and you can fight. Oh hey, here's the frog from Konosuba, and here's the Dulahan from Konosuba, and such. But man, I was like, this looks like a crappy gotcha game, and then I looked inside and I was, wow, it is a crappy gotcha game.
Okay, I just Googled it, and these 3D models are actually really good. Like,
The
someone
the
put effort into this.
the Swordmaster story, yeah, the sprite art is actually really good. Yeah.
Like, this is like actual modern day fighting game good. Like, this
Yes,
is really nice.
it looks fighting game and it's really nice, but I wish there was actually content in the game. But whatever.
Hmm.
Does oh my god, I forgot his name. The main character.
Kazuma.
What's wrong with me?
There's a costume you can unlock for the main character of this game to turn him into Kazuma,
Hmm.
Oh, okay. 'Cause
and there's
article
costumes for Wiz and Union as well.
oh, okay, gotcha. There's the article I found is a Pocket Gamer thing, and it gives like the stats of the Aqua, Mega Man, and Darkness, but it doesn't say anything about Kazuma. So I was
Hmm.
confused.
Aqua is free if you just log in for 7 days, which really just speaks to how easy she is.
Hmm.
Brutal but accurate. Well, at least conceptually fun. And you did get to see those cool 3D models and stuff. So there's that. As long as you
I
didn't spend any money, it's not time wasted.
I didn't spend any money. It's just why not try it out? And okay, I've seen it. Curiosity sated. Time to go back
Good
to
to see.
doing something else. I really do like the idea of Mega Man just being like, I deal so much damage with this one skill, and after that I'm gone, and my sustained damage output is 0, and you guys go on without me.
Yeah, that sounds accurate. It's fitting. At least she isn't gone for the rest of the combat completely.
I kind of wish he was, just for the
I
joke.
mean, that would also be fitting. That would be more fitting, actually. So I couldn't complain.
The collab is so much like it's all this game has going for it to the point fact that like when I look at the icon for it on my phone, I see it's Swordmaster below in the text, but the actual icon for it is Konosuba and it's a picture of Mega Man and Union.
That's actually fairly standard for anything that has a special event going on. They will modify their logo to match it.
It's only Konosuba. The actual name of the game isn't. My goodness.
And there was a Disney hero collector that I used to play, and I forget the name of it now, but anytime they would add new characters, even if they weren't strictly Disney or whatever, they were a special event character, that the logo would change. Or if it was a holiday or whatever.
But to make
So
your logo into an entirely different franchise that you're collabing with really seems like you this is all you have.
kind of, yeah. They're definitely bringing in that misclick attention, essentially.
Hmm. Yeah, that was it. I just thought of that. I was like, man, I miss Konosuba. I want another season. The movie was good.
What was the spiritual successor to Konosuba? Something came out this season that was similar to it. I forget what it was.
Let me see real quick. I mean, technically speaking, there's a lot of things that could be.
I think it
Here.
was Full Dive, I think. Uh the story of which in the first like 5 minutes of the episode was like technology got really, really advanced and VR was so crazy that it had this expansive world that was dynamic and could grow and then everyone discovered that real life problems in video games is terrible, so they dumbed it back down. And now we just love numbers crunching RPG madness, essentially. Uh,
Full Dive. I haven't heard of this.
yeah,
We-
think I
Full
have a
Dive,
tab
the
open on my
ultimate
phone.
next gen full dive RPG is even shittier than real life, is the full title.
That's the one. That's the one. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't aware of this. This is on Funimation.
I've seen most of the first episode. Uh, since it wasn't out on anything official yet, I had to just watch some shitty, bad website. And yeah, it's good. I mean, the first half of it I saw was great. He meets a female neckbeard in a comic shop. It's pretty great.
Okay, I kind of want to watch this now.
I can explain that situation if that would help any. How that scenario of him meeting the shop owner.
No, I think I can see it.
All right, that'll work. Like I said,
Um,
it's like the extent of what I've seen is about 12 minutes of anime, so it would not take long to get caught up to me.
yeah, I think, yeah, there it is. That the reason why I didn't see it was because the freaking put the Japanese name on my anime list instead of the localized name.
Yeah.
The name we would recognize because it's in English.
Mm-hmm. Man, there's a lot of good anime coming out. Yay.
It is definitely nice. I definitely I'm happy that the anime industry is recovering, at least conceptually.
Mm-hmm. It's been rough, but now everything's coming.
It's definitely recovering faster than the movie industry, that's for sure. It's jack and shit coming out.
There was like some movie reward show that my parents were watching the other day, and I was just like, nothing came out. Nothing came out. Whatever did come out, I didn't hear about, and nobody else did either.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just been very slow. So yeah, Casey, anything else you forgot about your week or
Okay, I'll take that as a yes.
Yum.
The thing he forgot was that he needs to sleep.
I am hungry and I am sleepy.
food does sound nice.
Yum.
You want to close us out?
Yum. Discord's public, link in the description. Just hang out and stuff. You know, was super fun and exciting. You know, full of energy. Patreon, link in the description. We appreciate it. We genuinely appreciate it. This is an affectation of me being sleepy for the bit, but we do actually appreciate it. You're really cool people who donate on Patreon. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Sorry, Casey was sleepy this episode, but it was record now or don't record at all. So, you know, woo.
Whoa.
Um. Bye,
Okay,
everybody.
go night night. Go night night now.
See you guys.
See ya.
Wow.